Hello, everybody. This is John from AU Packmule, and today we have the most special guest I think I've ever had on my channel, Tony Teflon from Teflon TV. We're going to be speaking about Game of Thrones Season 8, and I definitely want to make sure that everybody realizes how special this is to me, because I had him on my channel last time when I did the 30 days, and he was number 30. This time I said, Tony, we got to do this right. You're number one. We're going to put you number one, and that's all there is to it. So whatever you want to start. And he said, let's start it whenever you want. I was like, wow, this is just such an honor. And I'm sorry to keep you guys waiting, but we actually had a little bit of a love fest on the pre-show. So thanks for bearing with me. I just love Tony. He brings such passion to Game of Thrones, to all of his videos. He's done a video on everything you can think of, including kitchen sinks. So I just am so grateful to you, Tony, for being here and for just talking about this great show. We talked briefly about doing a live stream, and I'm just glad that we're here to do it now. Would you like to say hello to everybody? Because I know everybody is waiting for your legendary introduction.
Oh, is it really? All right, no doubt. What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm chilling with my man AU Packmule. AU, thank you for having me on your channel. It is an honor for me to be up in here rocking with you. I do not go on the road often, people. Y'all know this about me, right? I don't do it. But I said my man AU Packmule asked me to do this, and you know I had no choice. As he said, we did number 30 last year. You're going to set this thing off right tonight. You're going to put good vibes out there so that everybody who follows the Don can come on here and blow it up after and make this the most successful stream for AU Packmule. So make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my man, because it's not just going to be me. You're going to have a bunch of other great YouTubers on here. So you're going to want to hear what they got to say too. And if not, you just got to hear what AU got to say. All right. So thank you, AU. Thank you, everybody out there. To all the people, my hit squad in the chat, who's come over and watching my back over here. I appreciate all you out there. I see all y'all up in the chat and everything else, you know what I mean? So yes, sir, AU, I'm here. I'm here to do whatever you need me to do. Let's rock it.
Well, we talked briefly about what we were going to talk about before, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to say a little bit about where you started from, because when I started in watching Game of Thrones, I gobbled up all the books. I went through everything, and then I found YouTube, and shortly after I found your channel, and I think I've been a subscriber for I can't even tell you how long. I know it's been in 5 years, and
Yeah.
it's been forever. So tell us, everybody that's new, maybe that hasn't heard your story, tell us a little bit about what happened.
All right, we're going to do this. We're going to go back. If y'all want to know how far back, way back. When I first started, this is a YouTube situation. When I first started doing the YouTube, I just didn't really have nobody to speak to about Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire. So, and I was really into it. So I needed to find an outlet. So I found, as I think a lot of people did, probably the greatest YouTuber of them all who ever started the game, and that was Aziz from History of Westeros. I found him when he was with Steve. It was basically Steve's show, and Aziz was the feature. You know, it was really Steve was running the show, and Aziz was like his guest. But I was like, who is this guest? This dude knows everything. I was like, how does he know all this stuff? He knows everything, this guest. Eventually, Aziz took a more prominent role over, and then they started, and he started they started dropping things on YouTube. But the thing was, when they were dropping on YouTube, because back then, for some reason, he was probably having the same problem that I eventually started to have when I started doing YouTube, was that it took so long to upload these videos, So when he was uploading a video, it was months in between his videos they were putting up. So there was nothing really there. So I watched this dude, Otaku Assemble, and he was doing Game of Thrones reviews, but he didn't know everything because he didn't read the books. So when he was doing the reviews, I was like saying stuff that he should have been, felt like he should have been saying he should have known if he read the books. So I was like, you know what? Let me just get out here and start some thing like that. And the first video I did was why I support Stannis Baratheon's claim to the Iron Throne. Because back then, believe it or not, there were no Stannis fans around. Nothing at all. It was really, I felt like I was on my own island back then. No one liked Stannis Baratheon. Everybody hated this dude. So that, if you ever see it, it's a really terrible video. And then I started going on from there and stuff, and started doing live streams with James of Thrones and, you know, and BarTube. And like I said, going back then, when you talk about back then, there were no live stream at all. When I did the live stream, when James of Thrones did the live streams, those were the first Game of Thrones live streams on YouTube. I can't find them. I don't know anyone else who did it. And then History of Westeros started doing the live streams and stuff. And me and Bar started doing the live streams, and everyone just started. And the Hypes Watch just took the live stream to a different level. The Hypes Watch just took the live streams and just kicked that shit up a whole notch. Between them, Sweet YFT, and all them, it was a live stream of men every day. And then we have basically what we have right now with all these live streams out here and stuff like that. So that is basically how I started. I would have to say that if there's a tree that comes from Game of Thrones YouTubers, the Tony Teflon is on the History of Westeros tree. I'm a branch off of them, and I would think that a lot of people, I may have a lot of branches off of my own. I can make my own tree, and I have a lot of branches of them. But the true tree, I would have to say the History of Westeros tree, I'm a branch off of them. Teflon TV started by watching them. It was watching their videos, watching Otaku Assemble, but mostly History of Westeros that really made me want to go out there and put my word out there. And it was like the biggest thing that happened was I remember when I really got confident in doing it was I came up with this thing about the pink letter a long time ago, about pink wax and stuff. And I sent Aziz a message, and he got back to me and he said, wow, I think so. I never thought of that. And I was like, oh my God, Aziz never thought of that. And I did. And that's what I really thought, like, all right, maybe I could do this. Maybe I'm on to something. And that's how it all started.
536 videos later.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I've been through your videos quite a few times, and I tell you, every single time I go, no, that can't be right. And then what the hell do you find out? It's right. You're always right.
It seems like I have banged out some. You know, I haven't expected to go that well, in all honesty. I just put shit out there just to put it out there. But it just so happens that a lot of things I put out there just happen to pop up. I mean, I don't know why or anything like that. It just happened. It could have happened to anyone. I just got lucky on these ones, I guess, or whatever it is. But, you know, I've gotten anything.
Anybody in the chat you want to say hi to specifically? Because there are everybody that's here. Awesome people.
Oh, there are a lot of people. I say what up. You know, let me see. Let me take a look down here. What up to my girl, Lady Dreamfire? What up to Game of Theories with Marie? What up to my true girl, true chick right there, Renee M of House Stark? What up to T Baby, my shorty right up in the building? What up to the Imaginary Realm? What up to DJ? What up to Angelina? Aha. Yes. What up? Hope you are feeling better from the leeches I seen on your arm. What up to Khaleesi Clues? She's up in the building as always, holding down the Gazette for the dime. OTDA is in the building. John Taylor is in the building. Johnny B Crazy is in the building. Mo Castile is in the building. Got so many people up here. Thank you, everybody. Big E, Sarah Charles, for joining me, and my man AU Pack you up in this.
Yeah, Bobby Catalano, Sarah Charles is here. Big E is definitely always one of your biggest fans I've ever seen. Daryl Galt, love you, man. Thanks for being here. Fandom D Saint is also here. Big
my
David.
First ever subscriber, IC Spots, is in the building.
Isn't that amazing? Ever, huh?
First ever subscriber I ever have is IC Spots, without a doubt. First one. First one. I'll never forget it. Never forget it. Always have a special place in my heart for being the first person who ever had the guts to click that subscribe button on Teflon TV.
Yeah, mine was Jamie Sneed, another great person that's always been around forever. You know, I had T Baby on my channel, and we were talking about how long it's been that we've been going through this. It's just crazy. And now it's coming to an end, or at least the show is coming to an end. I don't think our fandom is coming to an end at all. I think we're going to be going on for years and years.
This is Star Wars all over again. This is what this is. It will never end.
I hope not. I hope not. Yeah, and the other thing too that's actually increased is the cons. I know you've been to both the Ice and Fire con that's coming up, and then the Con of Thrones, the big one from Dallas. Tell us a little bit about your experience from that, because I know everybody that's followed you has watched some of your videos from there, but tell us the people that may not have known.
Which one? All of them?
Yeah, both the Ice and Fire.
All right, Ice and Fire Con was. I had a really good time at Ice and Fire Con, and I would. If anyone wants to go to a con that it's basically more of a I would say if you ever had the imagination and said, hey, what would it be like to be in Friday the 13th with a bunch of people? This is what it feels like. Not that people are going to kill you, but to get together. The fact that the people are having a good time drinking and just talking Game of Thrones by the campfire. Now, when I think of it, I automatically think of Jason because I'm from the city and I don't be trusting these woods. Now, I know a lot of y'all out there love these woods. I don't love the woods. The sounds in there and the darkness. And when it comes to sounds and darkness, and I don't like them unless I can see them. I don't like any sounds unless I could see it, people. So it's a little nerve-wracking out there, you know what I mean? But I had a great time up in the field. I'll tell you how it did. Don the Kraken went there. T-Baby went there. Monero Geek went there. Alicia Kingston went there. I had to go. So he was hitting me up like, yo, Tony, you got to come. You got to come. You got to come. I'm going to tell you how I did this mission. I got out of work. I left my job. I got out of work at 3 o'clock. I was out the door heading down there at 6 at night. I got there at 6 in the morning. Met Don the Kraken met him all, cracked open a beer as soon as I got there. 6 in the morning, cracked the beer open with Don the Kraken gave him a hug, started drinking. Aziz was there. I made this dude in this golf course, probably like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning at this time. Take me to, I forced him. I was like, you're gonna take me to goddamn Aziz's room right now. I need to meet this guy. Rode over there. Basically, I just barged in. He knocked on the door. I barged in this motherfucker. Aziz is basically, he's in his underwear and shit. Everyone's in the bed sleeping. I just grabbed this dude, start hugging him and shit. And Aziz got a big fucking chest, man. This guy's chest got all four. I was like, hey, motherfucker, Jesus. He got a real big chest, Aziz and shit. Maybe y'all can't realize that from the thing, but Aziz is pretty big, muscular dude and shit. So I grabbed him, hugged him and shit. Like, Jesus, Aziz, I realized he was in his underwear after I hugged him and shit. Then I realized, like, wait a second, man, this is nuts. What am I doing here, just barging this guy's place? I was like, I'll talk to you later, man. But I was just so happy and excited to meet him. I just had to see him at that time. And then obviously I met Alicia Kingston, made this curry that was just gold. I mean, it was the greatest curry I ever had in my life. And I ate that and had a great time. But more about the con itself, besides just my personal time there. It was a great experience. They got sword fighting going on that piece. They got panels going on that piece. Brendan B. Fish was up in there. Got to meet him. But just like I said, it's more of a camp atmosphere more than a con atmosphere. Now, when we talk about delve from that to Con of Thrones, that would be more of your typical con atmosphere when you go there. Equally as good a time. There were more people at the Con of Thrones. I would think you would think that there would be more people. The other one is definitely more intimate and more book related, right? This Con of Thrones is like the show and the book and stuff like that. The other one is, I would say, is basically centered on the book. You got to really know the book. Or you can go there without knowing the book, but people are gonna be talking about the books up in there. So but yeah, the other one is not, you don't have to know the books, but it's more costumes, a lot more elaborate costumes, just like a regular con, a lot more panels. It's much bigger. It's a great time there too. A little more expensive and stuff. You're gonna spend a little bit of money, but I had it equally. Probably, I met more other YouTubers there at that con. So I would say maybe, I don't know if I could say I had a better time. I don't know. The whole thing about when I went to the con, a Song of Ice and Fire con, when I got there at 6 in the morning, I left at 5 in the morning. So I left that. I got there 6 in the morning, and I left at 5 in the morning because I had to work, and I went shot right back up there. So I wasn't even. I was there for only like 24 hours, 23 hours, and bounced. And I was drunk for like 22 of them.
Best 23 hours, huh?
It was a great time. It was a great time.
That's awesome. Then yeah. Crown of Thrones, obviously in Dallas, was pretty epic, but it was on a much bigger scale. Everybody was probably had a lot more convention experience there.
Yes, it was definitely a more convention experience. I love the way the hotel got into it. The hotel was all about it, you know. And I said that one, if you're trying to meet a bunch of YouTubers and that's what you want to do, like run into YouTubers, and you got to go to Crown of Thrones. That's where they'll all be. And that's what happened with me. You know, I got to meet a lot of YouTubers and stuff, and meet them in person and talk to them. And hold on 1 second. I'm sorry about that. Oh, I'm sorry about that. But I got to meet a bunch of YouTubers in person, and that was probably the best part of it all, because, you know, you see people on camera, you know, you hear about them or watch their videos, and I watch everybody's videos. If there's any YouTuber who does it, maybe you think, oh, no one's watching my videos. I'm watching your videos. All right. So if you're a guy,
that is true. I don't know if anybody knows this, but if you're broadcasting on YouTube about Game of Thrones, Tony is watching, especially if you say Stannis 3 times.
Listen,
he's there.
I'm there. If you want me to come in your chat, I'm there. I watch everybody's shit, everybody, because I enjoy watching. This is my pleasure, is to watch live streams and watch people talk about Game of Thrones and things. So I watch anyone. So if you ever have a live stream and you ever wonder if I'm in there watching it, I'll never hide if you mention my name. Like, I'll sit there. I tell people I don't like to go in there because I don't want to take away attention from the people. Not that I'm anybody or anything like that, but I'm not trying to take away attention from anybody. But if you ever do, if you mention my name or say something, I will say it. But if you say Stannis 3 times, then without a doubt, I will definitely pop up. Just say Stannis, 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 and I'll pop right up there and say what's good.
Especially if you're looking in a mirror.
I promise you. I swear to you. If you do it, I'll say it. If I'm watching and I'm there, most likely I am. I will do it. But all small channels, if you're putting out the videos and stuff like that, if you're wondering, hey, if anyone watching, I definitely watch. And I appreciate all the work that goes into anyone who makes any type of YouTube video. Believe me, I know the struggle.
It's amazing how much you're actually supportive of other people. I really appreciate that about you too. I know there's a lot of things I can say that are my appreciation towards you, especially your creativity. But as far as your support, it's nobody else does that.
Well, you know, I know what it's like to come out here and not know what the hell you're doing. You know what I mean? I really do, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Still don't really much. And I've said it many times, and I'll say it, and I'm not ashamed of it and everything else. But like, you know, like when I was doing my videos like 3.5 years, and doing videos, I had no idea how to tag a video. I didn't know that you had to tag a video. I had no idea that you had to put these keywords in there. And the only reason I knew how to do that was because Gray Area is the one who showed me how to do that and told me how to do that. So she was the only one that was really, after all them years, that was out there that hooked me up. So I know how it is not to not know what you're doing and just trying to and get somewhere. So that's why I'm always willing to help anyone out or talk to anyone, or I'll do any stream or any chat. People ask me personally, like, if don't send someone to ask me, like if someone wants me, if you want me to be on your channel, just ask me. You don't gotta, you know, contact me and just say what's good and ask me, you know, because I'd rather do that than a go-between, because I need to, you know what I mean? Because I need to get some things straight before I go up on it and let you know what the deal is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, his phone number, by the way, is 904.
Teflon, baby, for the ladies.
Just kidding. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, so my girl Plexi Bertrand always has great questions. Speaking of cons, she wants to know what your perfect panel and subject would be. Who would be on that?
Oh, that's a very good question. I have no idea. You see, because it's hard. Like, so also it's hard. Like, I have a certain style that I do, you know, and other people have certain styles that they do, and not every style meshes well together. You know what I mean? So it would have to be some people that I could rock with, and I know that understand how I flow and understand how I get down. So I would say, if you wanted to have me on a panel with people that's gonna do it the Teflon way, like the way I want to rock and really rock, it would definitely be, without a doubt, it's the Don Tony Teflon. It's Phil the Issues Guy. It's Mogini Languini. It's Gray Area. If you put us on a panel together, we could rip that panel down. There's no doubt in my mind that that would be a very successful panel. Now, for a panel that I think that would be very good, like who I would want to do a panel with that I never got a chance to do it, I would like to do a panel with, I'd put Preston Jacobs, I'd put Aziz, I'd put James of Thrones, put Tony Teflon, the Don, on that panel, and maybe, like, I would like to see what Alt Shook F looks like in person, so I put him on there too, just for that reason. But I don't know if our styles would all mesh together. It would be a productive panel or anything like that. You know what I mean? But I think that would be, to me, one of the most interesting panels that I could be on. It's like basically the people that I watched when I started back with when I was there. So I would love to have a panel with those people. I think that would be a very good one. You roll with me, baby. Am I still all right?
I'm just muted. I just wanted to say thank you to Mo Castillo. Super chat. Nancy T with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. She is probably the biggest lover of both of us. I don't want to get into a contest with you, but
listen, there's no contest who she loves. It's me, because the bottom line is the bottom line is this: the Don Tony Teflon, the first blanket ever given was given to me.
That's awesome.
That's the facts. That's the facts, people. So everyone else who has gotten a blanket, I'm not saying you got the Don seconds or anything like that. Not at all, because it's a beautiful blanket. Everyone deserves to have one. But the tapestry design pattern, when she made that, I got it first. She must have been thinking of the Don. So you got Nancy T. T could stand for Teflon if you want, and you got a little bit of Tony Teflon on your bed, ladies.
How is that, man? That's awesome. You just don't get better than that. All right, so let's get into the show. We got, obviously, season 8. We're coming towards the end of the Game of Thrones. We've seen a lot of families come and go, but there's been pretty much traditional families that have gone through the whole story, starting with the Starks. And you broke down the Starks probably better than anybody with your direwolves and the names. And I think Bartube helped you with that a little bit.
Yeah, she did.
With the shaggy dog.
The shaggy dog theory. You said, so obviously, I've said things. I've made a lot of videos, and I've said a lot of things a long time ago, and a lot of people have said a lot of things since then and everything else. So when I say things now, it doesn't seem like I feel like George R. R. Martin with R plus L equals J, because I've said things that people like, oh, this is old news and stuff. But when I was putting out the Dire Wolf name videos and all that, I didn't really see anyone really pull that off or do that back then. I'm sure people have done it before. I'm sure someone had to think of it and stuff like that, but I couldn't come up with the shaggy dog and how that meant anything. And then she's the one who told me what shaggy dog actually meant and stuff. So that was a very good video for me when I did that too. I got a lot of good responses from that video back then.
She said to say hello to you, by the way. I don't know if you've talked to her lately, but Bartube.
I have not had a chance to speak to her. Beautiful.
I reach out to her all the time, about every 3 or 4 months. Please come on my channel, please. And begging doesn't help, when you're old. But she definitely said no, but it's because of her life, not because of anything else. And wanted to say hi because she knew you were coming on.
Oh, well, I appreciate it, BarTube. If you watch this later on, you know how much Tony Teflon loves you. I hope you are safe and everything is well with you, your mom. Hope your career is going well. BarTube is one of the first people, like when she's one of the first people that was like really good at making videos, that was actually willing to like work with me. Like she approached me for the Team V Q&A, and you know what I mean. And she was so much farther technically to make a video. Her editing was just so superb and stuff. My stuff was so crappy. My audio was so crappy, and she was still willing to work with me and stuff. And I'll give you something that Bar did back in the days that she started and everything else. When we started doing live streams back in the day on Google Hangout, it was you used to be able to like the thumbs up, the star of the question, and if you put like a plus on the question, the more up votes it would get, or reach the top. And it was her who came up with the idea to do that live stream and do that live stream that way, and upvote the questions and put them up in there. So that was all her 100% when we put that thing together. And a lot of people did that after we did that and stuff. And did their live streams like that, but it was her. She is the one who came up with that idea, and I was just someone who was just able to ride her coattails at that time. Happy to do so.
Yeah, definitely big shout out, right, Daryl? Shout out to Bar. So in regards to the show, obviously we've got quite a few families, like I was saying before, but the one family that I think we're missing is the whole Baratheon. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up to you, especially, is because you're a huge Stannis fan. I mean, like you said in the very beginning, there was no Stannis fans. Matter of fact, it wasn't until the second season that we saw Stannis. So yeah. I wanted to get your opinion on the fact that the astrolabe in the beginning of the show that everybody fast forwards through, where it shows the big sun and there's the bands that tell the story. The four families that are featured, one of them is the Baratheons. And I don't think if we had those families featured on the show, it is pretty significant. And I thought we would talk a little bit about where you think that part of the story is going to go.
Well, I think that when dealing with Game of Thrones or A Song of Ice and Fire, and I came up with this theory a little bit ago. You guys can check out my channel, you hear about it. But I think that it was based on the War of Roses, right? Everyone knows that. So if we look at the ending of the War of Roses, it was when the two Roses houses got combined. That's how the story ended. So I'm figuring that it has to end somewhat like that. All right, that's how it ended then. This is what it's based on. I think that we're going to get a similar ending just like that. So that's why I had said first that in order to get all the major houses combined, the best possible ending that I'm pretty sure will not happen, but to me that would happen, would be if Jon Snow married Cersei Lannister. Now, it would be a big Game of Thrones thing. He'd be forced to marry an out of love because he's forced to do it. We've seen what happened with Robb Stark. He was able to marry for love. It would be very poetic if it ended like that. And that would unite the Targaryens, and that would unite the Starks, and that would unite the Lannisters. But then the Baratheons are left out. So that's when I came up with the other theory, and y'all can check that out too, that in order for this to happen, the only way this works is if Sansa Stark marries Gendry Baratheon, and that will solidify all the major houses right then, because the Baratheons are Targaryens. We have the Baratheons Targaryens, and we have the Starks. Now that does leave out the Lannisters, the biggest house in there, and that does make it a little bit dicey. But Sansa was married to a Lannister technically at one time, so she is a little bit of Lannister. You could basically walk that line right there. So I think it basically goes down. And if you want to go into the Gendry is the Cersei's true-born child, if you want to believe that theory, which is not my theory, but it ties to my theory, so that's why I use it, but that's from Lady LaDonna. Then you do have, without a shadow of a doubt, all the united houses in Game of Thrones right then. All four houses between Sansa, Stark, and Gendry are all united, then you have the roses. You have that ending right there. So I think that most likely that is the ending that we're going to see, and that's how the Baratheons will be saved.
That's an epic conclusion. And I want to know why you think it would be with Sansa and not Arya,
Well,
because that's been talked about.
Yeah, Arya is not. Listen, she's not. Arya is a hit hoe, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that in this is what this chick is. She's a hit hoe. This chick has a bag of faces by her bed, right? She didn't go off to the brothels and learn special techniques with a tongue. She didn't pull a Daenerys. You know, she didn't learn these things. She learned how to fight, to kill people, to murder them, and silently creep away. That is not a housewife. I mean, I've never met a housewife in my life that's ever been able to murder people and then come back and cook dinner. I've never seen that. That's never in the history of anything, right? I've never seen anything like that. So I don't believe that Arya Stark is going to go down like that with Arya, right? Arya's a hit hole. She's the type. I'm not sleeping next to her. Who's gonna sleep? Who would dare fall asleep next to Arya Stark? I will never fall asleep next to her. One eye would be open, my other eye would be open. There would be a knife in my other hand, shaking like a leaf the whole time. You know, you can't go to sleep with your butt cheeks clenched up tight. No one can. Try it. Try it if you want to. Go to bed, clench up your butt cheeks, and try to fall asleep. It don't work, people. Give it a shot. You'll see you'll still be awake. So there's no way she's going to get down like that. So when you're dealing with the Starks, there's only one person it could be.
Sorry to interrupt you, Tony. I just wanted to let everybody know in the chat what's going on. We're getting raided by another live stream that ended, and Plexi, I appreciate what you're doing, but these guys are my friends. So thank you very much, Bob at Gill Skills, Nero, and Mickey XOXO. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for rating the live stream. You're gonna love Tony Teflon. He's talking Game of Thrones, of course, and they are awesome. So thanks for coming. All you guys are great, and basically another live stream just ended. They're coming over here and rating us. So thanks for being here. Sorry, Tony. Go ahead.
No, it's all good, baby. And thanks for them cats going in and showing my man AU Packmule some love. One love from the Don Tony Teflon, without a doubt. But yeah, Sansa, you have seen it from the beginning. The first thing she has said, she's told you, I want to have babies. I want to have lions with golden hair. This is her life. This is what she's always been. This is what she wants to be. She wants to be a lady. She wants to be a mother. This is what it is for her. Arya wants to see the world. So just to think that all of a sudden Arya is going to settle down and just be like, you know what? I just want to have a couple of babies and chill. That's not happening. You know, there's a lot of people out there, Captain Saberhoes. You know them dudes. I know them. I know a bunch of Captain Saberhoes, but they've never saved one yet. They've been out there. They've done their best, but in the end, they've gotten their hearts broken. You can't do it. Or you can't save Arya. She's got to go off into the sunset, and that's the bottom line. Sansa Stark is about that life. That's her whole MO, and she's gonna get what she wants, and that's what it is.
I have to big confession here. I never heard a hit ho. I'm so sorry.
Well, you must have never watched New Jack City. Watch Rockabye Baby, New Jack City, baby.
I always learn something from you, brother. So thank you.
I'm here for you. I'm here to give you that knowledge, baby. Rockabye Baby, New Jack City. Watch that. You'll see it right there. Right up. That's the hit hole right there. Everyone knows that's what it is. Or Snoop from what The Wire later on and stuff like that.
Wire, right.
It started with Rockabye Baby over there in New Jack City.
Revengeance says 1-800-CHOKE-A-HO. You're so bad.
You are not Arya. You could try it. You could try. You will have no. You will, like Daenerys Targaryen said. Next time you touch me, that'll be last time you have hands. Try to choke Arya and see what happens to you.
Yeah, it'd be tough. Yeah, I definitely don't see her as being that way after this is over. In other words, I think she has this agenda, but it's only because it was put upon her.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does.
So,
it does. Who are you?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you could go that route and say, hey, when all the battles are over, when she has gotten through all of her vengeance, then maybe she will settle down and get calmed down and everything else. It could be like that, but I think that when you look at the character of Arya Stark, she's just far too young. She still has a lot of all the people who do calm down, they do that later on in life. Like I know a lot of chicks who were out there in the clubs, whoop, whoop, there it is. And when the thong song came out, I know a lot of chicks that with the thong. Now these chicks in PTA meetings, right? But that didn't happen until they hit the late 20s, early 30s. Arya's a child. She's got all of that life to live. Sansa is ready to settle down now.
I was just telling Plexi, you did nothing wrong, Plexi. You were protecting me, and I appreciate it more than you could imagine. So don't apologize. All the people that are here, Country Girl, City Girl, Country Heart, all those people, they know this is a good place to be. So not a problem. Yeah. So when you said Gendry and somebody else, okay, I totally get that. But why somebody from the Stark family? Is it because of the way the show began?
Well, I think that when it comes down to it, when you look at the Starks, especially if you deal with a little bit of the books, right? And this right now, the Starks family has no heir. They have nothing. I don't think the Starks family line is going to die when it's all said and done, right? So they have no heir. They have nothing there. They have to have somebody. So I believe that in the books, when it goes down, it'll most likely be Edric Storm. It won't be Gendry. It'll be Edric Storm that pulls this off, and he is the one that marries Sansa Stark. I think that's why his nickname is Ned, because he'll be the new Ned Stark. So I think that when it comes down, but since they have given Gendry some of his parts in the show, I think that this will be Gendry.
That's a great analogy. I really didn't think about the Edric Storm from the books, because that is really where Gendry comes from, most of his character, right?
And there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. Most of the character we see from the show, the leeches, everything else, this is all Edric Storm's parts, right?
Exactly. So I definitely am encouraged to hear that the Baratheons are going to continue, because I think it's important that we have some families live. We've had almost all of the families we've met eliminated in the show. Was there another family that really shocked you that they eliminated, like the Tyrells? Or
I don't know if all the Tyrells die in the books. It's really hard for me to see them getting snuffed out the way they got stuffed out. Obviously, the brother's not in there and stuff, and there's a bigger family in the books, but I just don't see the Tyrells going down like that. I do see Randall Tarly turning on them. That's definitely going to happen, without a doubt. I think he's a spy in the books right now. He's already spying on them and stuff. So I think that's a done deal. But I just don't see them being just completely destroyed, especially getting blown up in there like that with Cersei, every member of the family going out like that. So that is shocking to me that they would all go out like that. Everybody else, it seems that it could that it should be, it should go down like that. You know what I mean? I believe that the families that have been taken out that you see should have been taken out. But the Tyrells, I don't see them all. I can see Marjorie dying, but there's no way I can see them all dying. No way whatsoever. Because I think that it's a much different in the books, because it's set up the way that Varys has set up and everything else, for them to take the blame for Cersei, for Maester Pycelle's death. That's why the coin of the Green Hand was left there, for them to get blamed when Cersei finds that's going to think that they had something to do with it. You know what I mean? So it's set up for Cersei to have some type of vengeance on them. But I don't think it's set up for her to kill every member of their family and take them all out like that.
We'll get back to Cersei in just a second, but John Del Vento, who is a pretty new member of the community, but he is like the most supportive person on everybody's stream I've seen. So thank you, John, for the super chat. And he asked, Don, can you expound upon your pink letter theory? And Tony's probably done about 18 videos on this, but
Yeah.
please tell John about your theory.
I mean, and basically, I have done 1,000 videos. I'm sure I'm not the creator of Stannis wrote the pink letter theory at all, but I'm probably the one who probably put the most effort into making videos that show that he is the one who wrote the pink letter. It's so much to go into. It really would be hard for me to do it. I do a video on it, but I can guarantee you that Stannis Baratheon wrote the pink letter. I will debate any YouTuber at any time on anybody's channel on this fact. Period. Point blank. End of story. Whatever theory they wish to bring out, and easily, I will show you that it's easily that Stannis Baratheon is the one who wrote this letter. In my eyes. Now, look, could I be wrong? Obviously, I didn't write the books. Anything could happen. But from everything that it spells out, from everything I can point to, there is no other way that this works unless Stannis Baratheon wrote that pink letter.
What I like about the theory is it shows that he's still alive. He has not been captured by Ramsay at the time, and it sets a precedent as far as his continuing the battle for Winterfell, right?
Yeah, I think that when it comes down to the pink letter theory, and then we're going to Stannis real quick. When it comes down to pink letter, is that it's going to be like, I mean, we have heard it's like R plus L equals J. It's not that easy. It's not that open. But I think that Stannis, to me, the way that's what it is. People don't want it to be. And really the biggest argument they always come up with when they try to say something is, oh, it's not in his character. It's not in his character to do that. When you say that, that means you really have nothing else to say. You have nothing in the books that's pointing to him not doing it. So then you're going off of what you feel his character is. And how you're going on your personal opinion. Now, I don't go on my personal opinion. I'm going on what the books has shown me. And I will give you direct reason why other people couldn't have did it from the books. And I can give you personal opinion if you want that. And I can give you exactly the reason why Stannis wrote it. But as for Stannis' character, all these victories that we have seen in the show for Jon Snow is Stannis Baratheon's victories in the books. No doubt. Jon Snow is laid up in that wolf. He's going to be in that wolf for a while. All this battle of the bastards and all that, that's Stannis' victory taking Winterfell. That's Stannis' battle of ice. That's him taking Winterfell. They had to give it to Jon Snow because they killed off Stannis because the show writers admittedly did not like him. Did not like the character of Stannis Baratheon, and they wanted to get rid of him. And that's what they did. And you had to give, obviously, the hero some hero moments. It's not very exciting to go into a whole season. Say they had this season when Jon Snow was in the wolf, and you have Stannis take over the Battle of Bastards, and you don't see Jon Snow, and people really believe that he's dead or something like that, or if he's inside Ghost and he's walking around the whole time, and people, it's hard to put that on screen, right? He's the star of the show. You got to give him some hero moments. So when it comes down to it, it's Stannis Baratheon that wins that battle and takes Winterfell, without a doubt, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that chain of thought that D&D has proven time and time again, if they don't like the actor or the actress, they write them out. They're pretty
petty.
simple. They
are petty. They have all this money in the world. Listen, the people with the most money in the world are the most pettiest people you ever meet. I'll tell you straight up, boxers. Boxers are so jealous people. I've been around a lot of boxers, trust me, and it's a scary situation because boxers, no matter how much money they got, they are so jealous. I've seen them do such petty things to people. Look at 50 Cent. You've seen 50 Cent on Instagram. That dude is the pettiest dude you ever. He's got all the money in the world, but he's from Queens, New York, and that's my brother and everything else. You know what I mean? But he's petty. You know what I mean? And that's just the way some people get down and stuff like that. It's just some pettiness going on.
So true. Yeah, that's amazing. I think the theory
one second, hey.
No, go ahead.
Let me give you a real reason to prove of their pettiness. Maybe I didn't give it. They specifically said, this is what they said that they did, Dan and Dave. They gave Jon Snow's character in the show a small dick And the reason why they did it, they said, was because Kit Harington had too much going on in his life. They said that in an interview. That's the reason why they gave him that in the show. Because he had too much fortune going on in his life. He had too much, too good looking, too this, too that. So we're going to give his character a small dick. That's petty. They're rich. They're as rich as, more richer than Kit Harington will ever be, probably. But they're petty. They're petty. And that's so the bottom line. That's just petty. And they did that.
Yeah, I definitely agree 100% there as far as Stannis goes. But no chance that Stannis is coming back, right? I mean, this isn't some sort of ploy between Breen, or Brian. He's dead, right?
He's dead. I would be, if I would love to say, believe me, I would love to say he's coming back to life. He's not. In the books, he's gonna fake his death, and then that's how he's gonna get into Winterfell and take it and stuff. But he's dead. They definitely killed him off. I don't know if they really liked the actor. The actor really wasn't into the part or whatever. Or they killed him off. He's not coming back. There's no Stannis Baratheon coming back. It's over for him and his daughter.
That's awesome. Yeah, the daughter part is just a killer, isn't it?
It is. That hurt me so bad. I have 2 girls, you know what I mean? And that hurt me a lot. But in all honesty, there's just really no way that I could see that ever happening in the books. He's nowhere around his daughter. It's not going down. What I think is going to happen to Shireen in the books is that if you see the situation that happens, you've seen Jon Snow was just murdered by the Night's Watchman. The Queen's up there with a few Queen's Guard and Shireen and Patchface. I think that what's going to happen is they're going to try to kill the Queen, or try to get her, rape her, or do anything all like this. And Melisandre is going to say, listen, this is what we have to do. And I think it's going to be the Queen that does it. She's going to burn her daughter. I don't see Stannis being anywhere around when that goes down. And I think that when she does, that's why we get the vision of Patchface, and Melisandre says, I've seen this guy with blood in his mouth and it's evil around him. So evil around him, to me, what she's really trying to say, that I'll break it down for y'all people if you don't think that Don knows everything. Here you go. When she's saying evil around him, to her, evil is warging. That's a warging ability. When you see Patchface biting his fingers or whatever, he's got blood in his mouth, he's being warged at that time. That's why it's the same thing when you look at the Vlad Sixton's chapter, when the chick is, when he's trying to take over the chick, what happens? She bites her tongue out and she see blood in her mouth. The same exact thing that's going on with Patchface. Someone is trying to warg Patchface at that particular time because he's probably freaking out that his girl Shireen is getting burnt and stuff like that. So I think that's how it plays out at the wall. This is probably a massacre in the end of Shireen that's going to get burnt, and Stannis' wife is probably going to get killed and raped, and Patchface destroyed too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good conclusion based on, what we've seen so far. I'm really, like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing a Baratheon survive. That's all. And I was hoping that the whole thing between Stannis and Brienne, because the last thing he said was "do your duty," and I don't think Renly would want him killed, and that's why that was said. But you're right always, so I'll just move on from there. How's that?
Listen, I tell people, you could go against me all you want. I like it. It's better for me. But I'm saying, just check the numbers. Check the numbers and see. When before that plot leak, the plot leak started dropping, and I never did a death prediction after that because it makes no sense with these plot leaks and stuff like that because you never know where people got it from. But if you look at that one I did before that year, I think I hit like 90%. That's the Hodor year. I think I hit. The only one I didn't hit was Hodor himself, and I stumbled on it, and I almost said he's gonna die, and I was about to say it, and I said no, and I was right there to say he was gonna die. Almost thought it, and I didn't. But everyone else, I just about banged that season right out. That one, that was a really good season for me right there. Yeah, and Stannis, who said John? Yeah, Stannis is one of the most funniest. It's probably the most funniest person in all the book series, without doubt. That's why I like him, because he's got those Rodney Dangerfield one-liners.
The answer to the question as far as the pink letter not being the way Stannis would act is the reason why it's so successful in getting to Jon Snow. I think if Stannis wrote it and you read the letter and you could tell it was written by Stannis, nobody would have even given it a second read.
No doubt. And obviously, Jon Snow has seen Ramsay Bolton's handwriting before, so he would know what his signature looks like. He's seen his signature before. So when you take a look at Stannis has a maester from the Dreadfort and with him in his entourage, right? Has the maester from the Dreadfort with him in his entourage, rolling with him, right? He has the letter of the big with the skin that was in it when he took Deepwood Mott from Asha. He has that letter with Ramsay Bolton. And in that letter, it specifically says that Ramsay Bolton's John Hancock is bigger than them all, right? So he has the maester from the Dreadfort. He has a copy of the guy's signature that's bigger than them all, so everyone can see it, right? But he didn't write the letter. I mean, if you really, you don't have to like it, but it's the truth. He wrote this letter. It's pretty, to me, it's obvious that he did it. He's the only one who had something to gain. You have to look at who had things to gain from writing this letter. He's the only one who truly had enough to gain from trying to get Jon Snow to come and help him out. You see the situation the man's in.
Plus, he'd already asked him twice to help him by giving him everything, giving him the Stark name.
He did everything he could do constantly over and over to get Jon Snow to leave the wall, and he won't do it. He did it over and over. He's offered him everything, offering him Val's fine ass.
I was going to say Val. I was going to say that because in the show, there's no Val. But, I mean, to give Jon that option is just amazing.
Without a doubt. He offered a Val. He's offered the head of Winterfell, the lands. He's not leaving. So what else would Stannis have to do? What's the last attempt that he would have to do? Because he knows he needs the wildlings to win this war. He knows. He says it over and over. You can unite the North for me. You, a son of Eddard Stark, can bring them to me. I need these people to win this war. Why wouldn't he do that? You know what I mean? So it's like I said, any YouTuber, anytime, on any channel. Easy work, baby. Easy work. I really would feel bad. I wouldn't do it. Obviously, I would never try to embarrass anyone or try to disrespect anyone. I would never do that because I would never want to be embarrassed or disrespected myself. But I would just put my points out there and stuff. And I just don't really think that anyone really would have you would have to be Johnny Cochran to come up in here to win this one, because it's hard. I don't see how it could be anyone else.
For sure. Yeah. Plexi asked a really great question in regards to I want to go back, Fire and Blood book, because we were talking about the families. The Targaryens obviously were featured in the book. And she asked, has anything from the book changed your theories from the main series?
From the Fire and Blood book specifically?
Yes,
No. I think that the Fire and Blood books or any backstory books like this. All right. So first off, I am not a huge Targaryen fan. All right. I'm not. I like hearing about them. It's okay, but I'm not. I'm more of a fan of the everyone else, like the North. I'd rather hear more about Garth the Green Hand. I'd rather hear more things about that happened in Westeros before they got there or anything like that than hear actually what's going on with the Targaryens themselves. So I like the Fire and Blood book, but I tell you the truth, I like the World of Ice and Fire book much better. To me, that I like that because it gives you more of the other storehouses and stuff. That being said, there is a couple of things. Obviously, when you're dealing with the Daenerys egg situation, could this be a link to that? I don't know why maybe he just did it to tease people. You know what I mean? When you see that the dragon worms and stuff like that they're inside of the parasites that are inside this woman's body with hands on them. I've always said that's not new to me because I've always said to cats before that if you're gonna have blood of the dragons, you're either gonna do some type of of genetic inbreeding, or you're having sex with the dragons. And that's just the only way it goes down. There's no other way around it. You know, if
you think she got a case of some dragon seed, huh?
It's got to be something. You had to do something. Had to happen. You know what I mean? It had to do something. You know, it's the way it is. That's the only way you get this blood. If you're gonna say there's an actual bloodline connection through these people and some type of animal, a lizard, a reptile, whatever you like to say, then there's only a couple of ways this happens. There's no other way it can happen. It's two ways. It's either some type of genetics or some type of fucking. That's it. So that's what blood of the dragon means. There's no other way it can go down. Yeah, I don't think they're drinking dragon blood and it's going inside their veins. Don't happen like that. It'll come out their ass, but that's about it. A bloody ass don't make you blood of the dragon. All right. So I would just think that there's only two ways for it to go down. So it had to go down like that.
Game of Theories with Marie just donated a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. She says, great stream, AU and Teflon. And
thank you so much.
We are so grateful for that. I really appreciate it.
No doubt about it. She's been in the big game for a long time too. So, you know, happy to see her out here. We'll hope she would make a Con of Thrones or something eventually.
Well, she's from Australia, so that flight would probably be about 24 hours.
That's perfect though. It can happen though. You know what I mean? It can happen. It'd be worth it. It'd be worth it.
We'll have to go to Australia and make the con there.
I would love to go.
That would be a good one.
I almost went to Australia too. I had the opportunity to go. I had the opportunity and I didn't go. But I did have the opportunity once to go, and I didn't. I should have went.
No doubt. So you were saying about the World of Ice and Fire you liked because it gave a more broad strokes over the story.
Yeah,
but Fire and Blood gave a lot more detail about the Targaryens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm not a huge Targaryen fan, so I'm not really. I've read it, I've listened to it, and I've read it. But you know, I've gotten some things for it, but it's not like, you know, I'm just not a huge Targaryen fan. It doesn't really matter. Like I just used the Targaryens to flesh out the other books. They just happen to be the fake kings that took over Westeros, and the people who just took over Westeros and then named themselves king. So you know, so they have an important line, and so they are very important. But I'd rather hear about my other families. I'd rather see what's going on in the north.
So Lady Dreamfire asked about you giving a little bit more information on Patchface. I think she's enamored about your comments about the Mel vision. Can you give her a little bit of your understanding of Patchface?
Yes, I can. So when you look at the whole situation of Patchface, and this is for you, Lady Dreamfire, all right? When you look at the situation of Patchface, you may hear people say that, how did this man, first you have to think of how this man come about? How did this happen, right? So the story is that Stannis Baratheon's father, right, was going off to find a bride for Rhaegar. He was unsuccessful from doing so, but he found Patchface. Now, to me, right, this is a possibility that even if he wasn't successful this time, he could have got sent back out to do it again because he's close to the family. So now you have this guy come back into Storm's End. And then all of a sudden, this big storm hits and he gets killed. When you see Patchface after that, this guy survives this storm, just like Mokoro was able to survive his storm, right? And now all of a sudden he says these rhymes. Now all these rhymes, I told you before, Patchface is being warped. When you hear these rhymes, this is all at the hands of Bloodraven. Bloodraven is the one who sunk that ship. He's the one who caused the flood to happen that brought that ship down. We've already seen blood magic make winds and make the sails of the winds blow harder and everything else. He could definitely do this. It would easily be, if you said, if there was an earthquake, a hammer of waters type spell under there to sink this ship, to prevent Stannis Baratheon's father from finding a mate for Rhaegar, because he's trying to get Jon Snow born, right? So when you look at Patchface, and the way I look at Patchface from a Stannis point of view, I don't think anyone really said or put out there, is that Patchface, and I'll say this about Tyrion Lannister is the same exact thing for Cersei and Stannis. Patchface is a reminder every day to Stannis Baratheon of how his parents died. Every time he looks and sees that bell jingling person walking around, he has to be reminded of how he got there, right? This is the same exact thing when dealing with Cersei Lannister, right? When she deals with Tyrion. Every time she sees Tyrion's face, it's a reminder of how her mother passed away. Now, I can't experience that type of pain, that trauma. I don't know what that feels like. But Stannis Baratheon is man enough to hold that down and allow him to have the play with his daughter because his daughter likes it and stuff. So I think that when you hear these jingles in Patchface and you hear him saying it, this is not just prophetic things coming through him and stuff like that. He's been giving these things from Bloodraven and then repeating them. And that's why he's there, to give you more of a, like, he's like Patchface is Mormont's crow at that particular time when he's giving you these prophecies and stuff. He's getting all that stuff from Bloodraven. I can go on if you would like me to. But
I think that's what you were looking for, if I'm not mistaken. But I think what she might be looking for is, oh wow, she said right away, is he evil?
I don't know if he's evil. I wouldn't give him evil. I would just think that he's just a victim of circumstances. He's just someone who's got played by the High Lords. He was just a slave, and he's just being used. So I wouldn't say that he's evil at all. I would say that he's being used maybe to do an evil thing. Not evil. I don't think he's done anything evil at all, Patchface. I don't think he really will do anything evil at all. So I don't see him as evil. I just think he's war. When Mel says that she sees him being evil, that's because she says that she thinks that dreams are evil thoughts of the great others, and anyone who comes to you in dreams, she says, is whispers from the great other. So anyone who's warging, which that's all that is someone's projecting themselves in your dream. It's the same thing as them taking over your body, projecting themselves in your brain at that time. You're not dreaming at this time. You're actually walking around. They're controlling you. But it's the same magic. It's the same exact thing. Those are whispers from the great other. That is Bloodraven and Bran.
I think what's so ironic in George's writing is that Patchface was brought over to Storm's End to make Stannis laugh. And because of his parents dying while he was there, it's something that will remind him never to laugh.
Exactly. It's very ironic, and I think that it's amazing that Stannis Baratheon hasn't murdered a Patchface, to tell you the truth, that he even keeps him around, because I couldn't keep him around.
Well, I think that's only because of Shireen, right?
That's the only reason why he does it, and that shows you the love that he has for Shireen and stuff, you know. So
you need to grab that, buddy.
Huh? No.
Okay, I thought somebody was at your door.
There is, but they got it. It's me in here.
All right, man.
Hold on, sir. I think.
Yeah, sure. No worries. So while Tony is getting the door and making sure nobody's gonna kick in the door and take care of that, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was where the other families are going. Is there a particular family that you guys are really wanting to live and succeed, besides Fandom D Saint and AirTouch Altanose wanting Cersei to live? I think we can rule out nobody wants her to live, but the direwolves are wanting in. Yes, exactly. You know, it's funny. We got raided by Gil Skills, a channel that I've been following for the last 2 or 3 months. And he actually got raided by the police. They call it swatted, where he's just doing a live stream. He's just a normal guy just talking on YouTube. And next thing you know, the SWAT team is knocking on the door and wanting to arrest him because somebody had told him that he was killing his wife. So it's pretty scary out there. But if you are going to do some live streams, make sure you let everybody know that you're not killing anybody and it's just maybe some neighbors or something. Yeah, exactly, Peter. You want the Mormonts to live. Yeah. You know, that's a funny thing because very strange house. And very strange connection to the Starks. I like that. The Cleganes. Joanna K says are there any more Cleganes other than the mountain? I don't know. Are there any more Cleganes if the mountain and the hound die? Yeah, I think that's pretty much as far as, other than service families for their lands. I don't think there is any more Cleganes. Because the mother was killed, the father was killed, the sister was killed. But yeah, as long as Jorah doesn't live, I think T-Baby would be happy. But yeah, I like the idea that the Mormonts would live.
I am back, sir.
Awesome. Cool. So everybody okay?
Yeah, everything's
super. Super. Good to hear, my friend. So we were talking about other families, and someone brought up the Cleganes. No other Cleganes besides the Mountain and Sandor, right?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
The Cleganes. There's
right.
only the Mountain and the Hound, right? There's no other Cleganes that are alive.
No, that's it.
Alicia Kingston, stop that. That's totally unnecessary, my sister. $20 super chat. Thank you. I heart both of you gents. Sorry, can't stay any longer, but 35 hours a week is too much. Couldn't agree. Smooches. I'll take that any day over the $20. As bloody ass does not make your blood of the dragon. Love that quote. Oh, my dear.
Love AK-47. That girl. And thank you again for the curry, because that was the bomb. That was years ago, and I still remember it. That's how you know.
Mm-hmm. She's awesome. Yeah, she's one of those people, like Ian Renfro, who's been around forever, just ever and ever. Yeah, that's so cool. So are you in favor of, I'm going to just say it because I hate it, but Cleganebowl?
I think it's going to happen. I think that's foreshadowed. You get the dream from Bran, right? That's the first book and stuff of him, and you see the mountain. And let me give a shout out to Khaleesi Clues on this one too, because I've obviously had my own theories about it, and I've heard other theories about this actual dream. But Khaleesi Clues, I tell you, I watch everybody's stuff. Or Khaleesi Clues, the only one out of all the years that these books have been out that I've actually heard describe the theory this way. And it is when the towering night is over him, and we've seen the guy with the blood in his thick black blood in his face, and the armored knight golden and sun right there, and we know the other one, the face of the ashes right there. We know that is the Hound, and we know that the other one is the Mountain, because the Mountain at this particular time has no head, and it's described as thick black blood in the books. Obviously in the show they're not going to have a headless horseman going around there. It's too much prosthetics, but in the books he doesn't have the head. Maybe he gets Robb Stark's head later on, who knows. That's a later discussion. But the other person that's armored in gold and beautiful, I've always taken that person to be Jaime Lannister. I still would believe that is Jaime Lannister. But the fact that Khaleesi Clues is the only one I've ever heard say that's not Jaime Lannister, that's Cersei Lannister. I've never heard anyone, I don't know how I never thought of that it wasn't Cersei Lannister, but it does make sense, especially when you see that the way that he's protecting Cersei, he's rolling with Cersei. It's a good chance that could be Cersei. I can't tell you that it can't be Cersei Lannister. Obviously, if it could be Jaime and they're twins, it could obviously be Cersei, right? But it does make a lot of sense that it does. So kudos to you, Khaleesi Clues, on that one. That's a very good get.
Thank you, Catherine Harding, for putting Khaleesi Clues' channel in the chat. Check that channel out if you haven't subscribed already. She will be on during the 30 days, so I just haven't nailed down a time because she's as busy as everybody else. So thank you for being here. She was on the chat earlier, so I'm glad that you were here. Oh, and another one that's come out of nowhere. Oh, there you are. Woohoo! She's right there. It's like Stannis.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, so cool. So yeah, cool. Yeah. Oh, John, you kept popping up where a moderator had to authorize your comments, and I just made you a moderator so you wouldn't have to go through that anymore. It'll pop up all the time now. So
gave you the hammer, baby. Use it wisely.
As they say in the UK, a spanner.
That's late in the UK. I don't know how many UK watchers we got out here this time over there.
Yeah, it's only like 4 a.m., so I don't think we'll have any. Angelina, Ohio, obviously is here, but
that's my girl. She got to be here. Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Plexi asked, how many guests have I booked so far? Actual times, I probably have 10 locked in, and I have probably 10 more that are not specific on the dates, just because not everybody wants to commit during the weekday. Angelina High says, I'm a spanner. I don't know if I want to claim that one, but thank you, I guess. I'll take that as a compliment because you wouldn't be insulting me. So there you go.
I don't know about these overseas, the lingo. It's strange to me. I don't get it sometimes. You know what I mean? So I don't get it. So I just stay back from it because I don't know what it means. I don't want to say something crazy or repeat something and it means something nutty. You know what I mean? But
yeah, like wanker.
Yeah. You know, like I know, like wanker. You know, I could put two and two together. I know what a wankster is. You know what I mean? You say you a gangster, but you never shot nothing. You ain't no friend of mine. You ain't no kin of mine. Don't make you think I won't run up on you with the nonsense. I know the wankster, so I can get that. You know what I mean? I could, but some of these things, they just got, you know, people just have different sense of humor and stuff like that from living all over the place and stuff like that, and they see the world differently. So different things make you laugh and stuff like that. So it's weird. I'm just more. I guess I'm just New York, you know, and that's it. And that's where it is. I'm just this American, whatever.
I love it. Proto Peach drops a $10 super chat. Thank you so much for that. Enjoying the stream, guys. Nice surprise on a Friday night. XO and XO to you. Thank you very much. Tony being here is like just it's like Christmas. It's awesome. We got another $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I love you guys. Don't just don't, Tony. I also don't trust those dirty children of the forest.
That's
now
right.
That I can relate to. What do you think their end game is?
The children of the forest?
You've got about 42 videos on that. I think I counted.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of my. I think when I first started, that was my like most popular. That's the thing I probably was. Besides the pink letter, the next thing I probably was most passionate about was that the children of the forest are evil. You know, I've had YouTubers make videos about me saying I was wrong, that I came up with that back in the day and stuff. But it seems that people have, you know. Once he put that dragon glass in the chest and all that, people started, you know, the opinions started swirling. Like, hey, maybe this dude was right all along and stuff like that. But I was saying that stuff way back because the image of the children of the forest that people have now compared to what it was 5 years ago was totally different. Now, a lot of people were thinking that back then the children of the forest were basically, the best way I could describe it, was more like an Ewok. That's the way they were acting, like, oh, the children of the forest are so cuddly and they got these doe spots on them. And I was like, nah, man. These dudes done fought everybody they've ever run across. They fighting. How are they so good? And that's how it all started. and stuff. And that's when I just started expanding from there and stuff like that, because it's just weird that you don't hear about every other race fighting, but these do, whoever they run across, they ready to brawl. And that's it. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? So that's how it all started with me and the evil children of the forest.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody said what you said about the children. But I do have a question about that, since we brought that up. Do you believe the visions that Bran has, specifically that the children of the forest show him through Bloodraven?
Do I believe that those are going to happen?
No, that those did happen. Like, for example, we see Leaf is the one that actually puts the shard of dragon glass into the chest, and we know that she wasn't born until like 100 AC. So that being said, I don't think it was her that did it, obviously, but for the show's sake, they used her because she was the prettiest, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Even I think the other one with the tree right on her forehead was the best design of them all. I thought that was just amazing. The tree on that one's forehead, the way they pulled that off and stuff. But no, she was definitely the best looking one. Because the House Reed is sleeping with these people on a regular basis, man. That's a given. Anyone don't think that's a given.
That was from the Ward King, right? That was from back
no,
then.
that was the Starks fought against them, and that's how people want to believe the Starks got their walking ability, because they conquered them and then married their daughters. The Reeds interbred to me with the children of the forest, Howland Reed and all of them. That's how they get their abilities and stuff. And I think it's pretty obvious, because they were down with the children of the forest when the man was with them. They were fighting against man with the children of the forest. Back in the day, when the first men first got there and all that, they sided up with the children from the beginning. They were down with them. The only way that happens is through sex.
Yep.
And that's it.
So my question was in regards to whether you believe that it was the children of the forest, whether it was Leaf or not, doesn't really matter. They're the ones that inserted the dragon glass into the chest and caused the Night King, quote unquote, to become alive.
It's hard because it's so different from the book. So I'll say in the show, yes, that's exactly the way they're going to say it. That's exactly the way it's going to play out, and that's what we've seen. That's what it is. So I think that's guaranteed. But in the books, it's impossible for it to have played out like that. We know that the Night's King is the 13th Lord Commander, and when he gave the Night's Queen his seed, he gave her his soul, and she converted him into the Night's King from sleeping with her. Back to sex. Hey, everything goes back to sex in this goddamn show, right? But that's what happened. Now, did they create her by putting dragon glass in her chest, and that's how she was created? Now, maybe so and stuff. Maybe that's how they created them and stuff like that. But the Night's King itself, from that we've seen in the books, was not created like that. We've seen how he was created, and that was from him sleeping with her.
Right. So the other thing that we saw that the children of the forest showed Bran through the tree was the Tower of Joy. And in that one, the books, obviously it's a little bit different with Ned's fever dream, where he tore down the tower. And that whole story, I mean, how much of that do you actually believe?
I just don't know how would Howland Reed tear down that tower? How they tear that tower down?
I don't believe any of it, so that's what I'm trying to understand.
All right, so it sounds like it couldn't have happened. From how do you tear that tower down? Only way I could see Howland Reed tearing that tower down is if he knows that hammer of water spell. That's the only way I could see them two people being there, because who's left there? It's just them really and the baby, right? And a wet nurse or something up there. To tear down the tower, the wet nurse ain't gonna do it. Howland Reed ain't that strong. It's a tower. It's not like you can just put your shoulder into it and it comes down. All right. This is set there in stone, right? So only way I could see that actually happens if Howland Reed somehow knows this spell, the Hammer of Waters, which he possibly could, and that's how they got that tower down. But if that didn't happen, then it would seem that it's somewhat fake.
Yeah, I definitely have some serious trust issues with the visions that they give Bran, especially with the fact that Hodor was twisted with that vision. Um, it just seems so strange to me. Um, yeah. Anyways, Angelina has a question in regards to: can you explain the mark on the Night King's? Oh, the Night King leaves on Bran, and what are your thoughts on that?
So I would use, I gotta go with my man Mo Genie Languini's theory on this one, that it's a tracking device, the Frost scale, that he was just able to track him. But the funny thing I think that you have to realize about that, when that went down, is Bran touched Bloodraven's tree. That was Bloodraven's vision he
Right.
was going into. Where was Bloodraven? He was nowhere to be found. Nowhere at all. So what was Bloodraven doing around all those Night's King people? And then when you get there, he's not around. The only one there is the Night's King, right? And then Bran comes out of the dream, and Bloodraven knows he got touched. He says to him, he touched you. And then Bran tries to lie and says, I don't know if he did. He goes, he touched you. So obviously Bloodraven was right there and allowed Bran to get touched by this. So this is some tracking device that he was able to track him with or something. That's what I would think it would be. I can't see it being anything else but that.
It seems like that's another example of a vision that we see that is very tricky, because like you said, where is Bloodraven? He's not, he's obviously there, you just can't see him. And is he the Night King? Is he
Listen, he could
part of
be.
the, you know what I mean?
He could be. He could be. He could be the Night's King himself. It could be Bloodraven. That's a good possibility. If it wound up that Bloodraven was a Night's King, I would think more so in the books, because he's a bigger character. You know what I mean? But as you've seen in the show, if you want to consider Bran and Bloodraven as one at this particular time, one entity, then Bran the Night's King, Bloodraven the Night's King, it all makes sense. The Night's King cannot just be someone we don't know.
Exactly.
It can't just be someone from history that we heard about. It can't be that. There has to be someone that connects all these people together. It has to be devastating. The only people that do this at this particular time would be Bran, Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen. It has to be one of these head people. Obviously, it's not Daenerys. Could it be Jon? Could he become the new Night King? Maybe, but it can't. It has to be something like that. It's not going to be some. It's like not going to be some Black Knight that just nobody, and all of a sudden, Sergei the Mountain was the Night's King. It's not. It's got to be someone to tie everything all together. Why he's coming down here, and it's not going to be some Stark that was the 13th Lord Commander Brandon that we never seen before. All of a sudden, he's here. And that's the Night's King. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be something personal.
There's no depth in that theory, right?
Exactly. There would be no depth, and you have to have something that makes you say, "Oh my God!" It makes you jump back, and say, "Oh my God, this is it." When that snow melts off the Night's King's face, I believe most likely you're going to see Bran's face in it. But if it was Bloodraven's in the books, I could see that all day being Bloodraven.
Well, I hope that answers your question, Angelina, because it was a good question. Shout out to Mogini Linguini, the most awesome guy to have around, bringing up the frost scale. I love that frost scale comment. That was great.
Yeah, Mo's the man.
Speaking of guys I love, Jamie Sneed, J Sneed 513 has a question for us. Hey fellas, got a question for you. Like I said, does House Dayne feel right as a Dornish house for you? They seem like they would be a house of the Reach, or maybe even Marcher Lords. Hashtag too noble for Dorne.
I mean, do they feel like one? Like the way they act, the way they look? No, I can understand why you would think it. You know what I mean? But they are who they are. So you know, but I can see your points and stuff like that, but they don't. It's the same thing you would say about the Targaryens, right? They don't really fit the bill for where the area they come from at all, right? They don't really have the looks of anyone over there at all. But somehow they came out here. Everyone else is dark skin, dark hair, dark eyes, and somehow these sheep people came out with white skin and purple eyes and silver hair. So I think if you've seen that there and that's just what happened, then it could probably be the same thing over here.
Yeah, I definitely think that we don't have enough information on the Danes to say that their whole house is that way, because we definitely get now I'm gonna totally blow it, because there was a member of House Dane in Dorne that cut Marcella.
Who? Blackfire? Black. What is it?
Yeah,
It's Damon. No, not Damon. No, good. God, I said Blackfire and I said Damon. No, it's that dude with the streak in his hair, the black streak that was supposed to
exactly.
Dark Star.
Dark Star. There you go. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Blackfire.
Thanks for saving me.
I knew it was something dark, like Blackfire, dark.
But he's Danish. I mean, Dornish. He definitely fits the bill for somebody from Dorne.
He does. He does. You know, everyone has different look. I think when you look at the eye color, they have a lot of Valyrian type features and stuff like that. But that's the Valyrians. It's a weird situation when you deal with them. As I said, when you're dealing with everyone else around your way that's dark, and all of a sudden these people aren't. You know, how did that happen? It was a genetic breeding that turned them this way with the dragon. Is that the reason how they got their purple eyes and their silver hair? When they were able to have sex with the dragons and do something like that, and they came out like that, is that what changed them pale to Michael Jackson? Because that's basically what you know. Everyone else there is dark as Michael was, and all of a sudden these dudes coming out like old Michael, right? That's what we're seeing here. We're seeing people that look like Sammy Sosa, and now they look like the Pepto-Bismol Sammy Sosa. And if you've never seen that, that's crazy. Take a look at it. I don't know if they're bleaching themselves over there. I don't know if they knew how to bleach themselves or they're bleaching themselves, but it is a little weird to me that everyone else there is pretty dark, and all of a sudden these people just come out of nowhere. So maybe it was dragon boning that got that done for them.
Love it. Dragon boning hashtag. All right. So John Del Vento has another question, and he says, I'd love to know your thoughts on exactly what role the Crypts might have in the show. We are getting a lot of foreshadowing about it. And I have been working on this, John, for almost 2 years, this theory. And I'll have a video out called The Origin of Winterfell. And it's about the Crypts, obviously, because that was there before Winterfell was built. And it's kind of long, and I've included audio from Claire Gray, Lauren's Corner, and also Don the Kraken Wit. So they've all helped me with this theory. So I'm not going to go. Sorry.
Recently? Yeah, you got Don the Kraken Wit in the video recently?
I have his audio, and it was probably. I probably got it a year ago, but I'd have to go back and double check on the date. But yeah.
Oh my God. And Lauren's Corner is my Lauren's Corner.
She
corner.
Say that again.
That's my Lauren's Corner accent voice right there I gave you. I can't really do a woman that good at all, but that's how it sounds like to me.
That's Tony's version of a Scottish woman.
That's it. Hello, this is Lauren. This is my corner.
Yes, that's actually, I would describe it as my magnum opus, because it answers so many questions in regards to why is the Night King coming, why the North remembers, why there must always be a Stark in Winterfell. It answers all of those questions. So yeah, definitely. And Ray's here from Ray's to Alba, so thank you for being here. You're awesome. Appreciate it. It was a great live stream you did last weekend.
Ray, and today is the day.
That's right.
Brooklyn in the building, baby. What's good, baby?
Love that guy.
Ray, man. Me and Ray need to get together and eat some platinum, son. We need to eat some you need to eat some monfungo, Ray. Hook it up, baby, Ray. Hook me up with some monfungo, baby. Come on, baby. Some coquito and monfungo. Me and you, baby. Hook me up, man. What's good with that, man?
Tony's hungry.
Yeah, only real heads. They know, Ray know what that is. He know it. Everybody know what that is.
So let's get to the Lannisters, because I think those are probably the most significant people in the story, because of all the people that we've seen, I never expected Cersei to live this long, honestly. And after what happened with Jaime, I thought he would deteriorate into nothing, especially in the books. Can you give me an idea of why you think George specifically wanted Cersei to go this route?
I think that when you have, from what we've seen basically in the show, when dealing with the women in the show, there's a lack of power that they've had in this society. And we see over and over again, you know what I mean, of how these women are in this position. They don't choose to be in this position. They rather be in a different position, but they still are stuck in this position because of the time that they're living. So I think it's a mold to break out of that box that we start seeing. And that's what I think Cersei's role is. We see that with a couple of women in it, but basically Cersei is the number one person that we see actually take what was hers. And if anyone want to say who took what was theirs from fire and blood, you would have to say Cersei was the one who actually stuck to those words and took what was hers and fire and blood and stuff. And I do think that Cersei is a misunderstood character. I think people give her more grief than she deserves and stuff. She does do a couple of bad things in the show, but I think everybody in the show does bad things. I think she's just a victim of a lot of things that have happened to her in her lifetime. And I said it, people. Yes, I did. And that's what I feel about her. So, but no, I think that's the reason why he had her specifically do it and have it like that. It's just the shifting of the power of the women actually being able to control her own destiny and take control of things for herself.
Do you think because of the way George writes that he is intentionally making her a power player?
Yes, I think that you could see that she's meant towards Sansa. Sansa will be, when Cersei's dead, Sansa will be the next power player. Though Daenerys is considered to be that, when we really look at the story of Daenerys, that's not what she is. Daenerys is a conqueror. She's not a politician. She doesn't play the Game of Thrones. She just burns shit down. And if she sticks to that, she'll be successful. If she takes out of her game, she's not going to be successful. The only one that we have seen that has been taught the Game of Thrones in this whole show consistently from different people over and over again is Sansa Stark. They're not just doing that to do it. They're not doing that to kill her. They're doing it for a reason, because she's sitting in the throne when it's all said and done.
One of the things that we talked about earlier is D&D hurting people because they're petty, because they don't like the actor or actress. Just the opposite has happened with Lena Headey and Cersei's character. Do you think that has a big role in what will happen, or do you think really what George wants is the way they're going to portray the story?
Say it again, please.
So George obviously wrote Cersei a certain way, but we do know that Dan and Dave, if they like the actress, they will play them up. Okay. And I know that they love Lena Headey. Would you agree?
Yes, no doubt. No doubt.
So do you think what's going to happen to Cersei is because D&D love Lena Headey?
I think they may have given her some roles that she could where I'm looking, emote push her facial features and expressions out there a little bit more than probably would be in the books. They've taken away things that she has done in the books to make her character look better. They've taken away all the sex she's having with all the servants and everything else to make her character look better. But I think that the ending is still going to remain the same. I don't think that you can change that big of a significant character as Cersei Lannister's ending just to fit the actresses because you like her. You know what I mean? I'm sure they like Charles Dance, but he had to die in the shitter, right? You had to. That's just what it is. He had to die on the shitter. That's just the way it goes down. No matter how much you like the guy and respect his acting ability, Pops, you got to sit down on this shit and take the boat to the stomach. That's what it is. So I think it's going to be the same situation when in the end with her. Especially, I think that it'll be a great scene that they give her. They'll give her a lot of chance to give a lot of facial expression when she's getting strangled. You know, she's gonna get the Joffrey she's getting Joffreyed physically. You know, same thing that happened to Joffrey is going to happen to her, but it's going to be a pair of hands around her neck. So it'll look similar to that Joffrey. If you can overlap Joffrey's face, I guarantee, frame by frame, you take Joffrey's head position, that's the exact head position when Cersei goes out, it'll be the exact same one. Quote the down on that. We pull the strings.
We even have the Night King in here, so we should ask him if that scene with the Children of the Forest is pretty true. Thanks for coming.
It's hard for me to see the chat. I gotta put my glasses on.
No, that's okay.
All right,
you go right ahead. Do you mean your drinking glasses? Is that?
No, I have glasses. I'm getting old here. I don't need drinking glasses. That's only when I gotta see it physically in person. You know, that's a different situation. From the chat, everybody's beautiful in the chat, right? Everybody.
Isn't that the truth? These are some awesome people.
There's no doubt. Listen, the community, I will say this straight about this community. When I did come into doing YouTube videos and stuff like that, I was going to start doing boxing videos. That was what I really, when I wanted to take off, I wanted to take off doing boxing videos. But I did like 1 or 2 boxing videos, dealt with that community and said, nope, thank you. No, thank you. And I'm sticking with Game of Thrones because no, thank you.
There's a lot of hate out there, isn't there?
Oh, there's so much hate. Listen, you wind up in prison. That's it. You know what I mean? Because it's just, I don't know. People are just ignorant, and they just come to internet to display their ignorance, put it on display for everyone to see, and then when you get called on it, they get upset, and that's it. And I'm from the city, and I understand when people get upset, how people want to react in certain ways, and if that's the way I don't. You know, if people want to react, you know, in certain ways or physical or anything, I don't down anyone for the way they want to react. It's just all about your environment and how you're raised. If you react in a certain way where you are just like to talk things out, or you react in a way where you get upset and you feel like the only way to handle this is physically, I think the person that has messed with you, that they're the ones who have to they should have took that into account before they mess with you. So that's the way it is when you're dealing. When I was in the boxing thing, people are just they're very passionate and they have their stance, and it's already a fight talking about a sport talking about fighting. So it's easy to lead that way. You know, it's like people are there to do that. They're waiting to get into that action. You know, and that's what it was. And I'm not all about that at this stage of my life. You know, yeah. only if I'm like Toby Keith, probably not as good as I once was. No, I'm better than that. I still am as good as I was, but I ain't trying to, anything can happen to you at any time, and I ain't trying to get involved in nothing, man. And that's it. Just but see my kids live and everyone else be happy. That's all I really care about.
Sounds good.
And this community, it's all good about that. You can, you know, everyone in this community is, you know, it's a fun place to be. And listen, you start drinking with these people, man, you'll see how good the community really is, man. Trust me. Go to Kind of Thrones and have some drinks with these people, and you'll see what it is, man. You'll see what it is.
For those of you who don't know, Tony is author of a great book that is about it's a children's story, and I don't know if I could. Would you say it's more of a just a I'm trying to figure out how to describe it other than the fact that your connection is pretty cool as far as with the boxer.
Yeah, I would say that to describe the book, I should know this right. It's mine, but I would say it's an inspirational story, more about how to stay on the right path, how to succeed in your dreams, and stay away from pitfalls that are going to prevent you from getting to your dreams. And I wrote that book for the still current, reigning, and defending, undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. I'm very proud to write that book for him and stuff. And I do have part 2 and a part 3 that's done. So we are getting out there and stuff. So no, I was very, very good, happy that he was willing to work with me to put that out there and stuff. And it was very successful. It sold a lot of copies of that book. I got a lot of positive letters. I got one from Renee of House Stark that read it to her son, and she told me how they talked about setting goals for the son and how to achieve these goals and what it's going to take to achieve these goals. And though she said that is exactly the best play words I could say to describe the book. That's what it's all about, because there's going to be a lot of pitfalls in your life, a lot of things, people that want to sidetrack you from doing what you know you have to do or what you need to do. And it's about overcoming them and foregoing them. And you may feel like you're missing out on things at times, but in the end, it's all worth it. That's basically what the book's about.
I think the connection you have with boxing goes even deeper from your personal experience, right?
Yeah, well, I boxed myself for 7.5 years in PAL in Queens and stuff. I was very good. I'm not just saying that. You can ask people. They would tell you. And I've gone to, my father boxed, and my father was also a fencer. More than the boxer, my father was a fencer. He loved fencing, and that was his thing. He's a fencer, and I had fencing equipment in my house my whole life, and my whole life. And my father, I used to come around the corner when I was little, and my dad would go, "Oh God, ha!" It just to jab it, and you had to be on your toes and stuff. And so my dad was 6'7". So you have a 6'7" black guy from Marshy Projects in Brooklyn. He was a tremendous fencer, right? Who would have thought it? So I always was into these sports, contact sports, and he boxed and boxing and stuff. And I boxed with my friends and boxed, and I had a great time. And then after that, I moved to upstate. And when I moved upstate, the Boxing Hall of Fame is only a couple of hours from me. So I just wound up going to the Boxing Hall of Fame and just interacting with people. And I got this thing where I get along with people. I've been around so many different situations that I really don't feel uncomfortable in anyone. So when I got around a lot of these boxers in there, other people were kind of starstruck. I just treated the dudes like regular people, and they appreciated that. And so, and that's how it basically went down. I became friends with a lot of these boxers, and I'm friends with them today. And just from hanging out. And this is kind of like, it's a weird situation. You would think that how could you become friends with people that you've watched on TV? They're just people, and that's what it is, and that's all it is. But that's like basically my connection. The name of my book, that book is called Deontay, the Future World Champ. And that's where Linda R. asked that question.
Yeah, Mo Castillo put in a super chat just to ask that question. So that's awesome. One of the things that I will do is I will get the book and I'll try to get Tony to sign it for me. I'm not sure how I'll do that, but I'll buy the book and we'll do that and give that away. I also put the link to the book in my description. I put all the other links for Tony in the description of this video, but I didn't do that one, and I do apologize for that, Tony.
No, that's fine. That's all right. I'm not here to sell books, right?
Oh no, this was never not a bad opportunity to get that story out. I think is more important than selling the book.
Now I will say this, that even if you do buy that book and you're a boxing fan and you ever wanted Deontay Wilder's autograph, it's guaranteed that if you hold that book up, no matter what he's doing at that particular time, he'll stop and sign that book. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt
You
about
have
that.
book in your possession, he will stop, and no matter what he's doing, he loves children. Deontay Wilder loves children.
Is he about twice as tall as you?
Yeah, I would say so. But he only weighs about probably 40 more pounds than me. He's only like
That's a big man.
He's a big man, but he's only like 220. He's not
Wow.
but if he hits you, it lights out.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's the bottom line. But he loves children, and he's a regular dude, man. Like dude, he's worked in before he became heavyweight champion. He was working in Burger King, and he left Burger King to drive truck for Pepsi, and to load pallets of Pepsi soda inside the supermarkets. I distributed magazines, and he's a regular dude, man, who daughter was born with spina bifida, and he knew that the job she was doing, he just wasn't going to be able to pay for the stuff he had to pay for her to survive. And that's why he got into boxing very late in life. But he had enough talent, natural talent, that he became the heavyweight champion of the world and the last American Olympian to medal men in the heavyweight division. He won the bronze medal. And I think that the bronze medal, to me, is more important than the silver medal. And I told him this too when I met him, because to me, the bronze medal, you have to win that. The silver medal, you get given that for losing the gold. They give you the silver. You don't have to fight for that, right? You lose the gold, you get the silver. When you fighting for the bronze medal, it's either the bronze or you're going home with nothing. And that's it. So to me, that's a more significant medal than the silver medal, even though the silver medal is more cherished. But to me, that bronze medal, because it's either that or nothing, or you're going home with nada. And right. He was able to pull that off and get that. And I think he had maybe 18 or so amateur fights when he ran up, and he didn't have a lot of fights. He just ran up and was able to pull that off. So tremendous accomplishment. And he's not a natural. I tell you, he's not a natural boxer. He never was. And I think that saying he's a natural boxer could be taken away from how hard he trained to get to where he was at.
More of a brawler, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to get back to Jaime, because I want to finish the Lannisters before we finish tonight. But I did want to go to Plexi Bertrand's question. She asked about what faces Arya will use this season.
And it's hard to say exactly what faces are available for her to use, and why would she use them. I think those would be the questions you would have to ask yourself. And you hear people like, oh, she's going to use a face to sneak up on a Night King. Whose face can she use to do that? There's no one going to be it, unless she's going to do some type of Walking Dead situation and become a whisperer. I don't see how she's going to be able to pull that off. You know what I mean?
Pull that one out.
So I would think that if you're going on the faces that are available to her, that it's only going to help her in any way, it would have to be dealing with something in King's Landing. And so it would have to, it could be a Jaime situation. It could be a Littlefinger situation. I don't know how welcome Varys is anymore down there. So I don't know if it could be Varys. Varys is a name that no one would ever bring up. You know what I mean? But it could be a Varys situation. But what if it was Tyrion's face? I don't know if she'd be able to get that height though down, right? But their heights be the faceless men. The heights be up and down. That's never really a factor when it comes to face things. So that's hard to say. But that's unrealistic. But I would think it would have to be Littlefinger or Jaime Lannister if she's going to use it, because I can't see it benefiting anyone else in any way from that. It has to be some type of sneaking in situation. There's nowhere else to sneak to but King's Landing. How are you going to sneak into there? It's either Littlefinger or Jaime Lannister. There's no other way I could see it going down. If she's going to use it, it has to be one of those. But it could be that we got our faceless man moment with the phrase.
Right. I definitely think so, because the actor that plays Littlefinger's obviously moved on to another show. I don't think he's been even hinted at that he'll be around for season 8. But Yeah, it could be.
Look, she avenged her family's death by killing those Freys.
Mhm.
That's what she went away to do. That was the whole purpose of her training, was to avenge her family by killing the Freys in that the style she did. She did it by using the faceless men training. She in every way with the poisoning and the face, and she avenged her family's killing. So it could easily just be wrapped from that. And that's the last we see of her actually using changing faces, unless it's a Jack and Hagar situation at the end of the show, and she's saying goodbye to Sansa, and she puts her hand over her face and turns to someone else and says goodbye, sister, and she walks away. If she does something like that, I could see that going out like that.
I don't see her using I think just her ability to kill straight up is going to be what they'll use this year. I wanted to say again hello to John DeFranco and James Cox. Thanks again for coming. Very much appreciate you guys being here. Just even if it's just to say hello, thank you. Awesome. Appreciate it. So getting back to Jaime, because I think he's probably one of those characters that we all hate more than anything, and we all have turned, well, all the women have anyways, have turned their thoughts on Jaime being a good guy now. So do you think that's going to happen in season 8? Are we going to see a good Jaime?
I think I think you may see a good deed from Jaime, but that doesn't make him good. Yeah, as Stans Baratheon would say, a good deed doesn't wash away the bad, nor does a bad do the good. I don't know how people are so willing to forgive this Jaime Lannister for all the things he's done. It really just comes down to the way he looks. And that's just the bottom line. I mean, good-looking people get the pass. That's life. It's the way it's always been. Do you think that if Casey Anthony had no teeth in her mouth, and they found her baby in the bag or whatever, the way they found it, that she'd be walking the streets today? Impossible. When you see a good-looking woman, these things, it happens. Good-looking wins pays the bills in the end of the day for that. And I think that's what people are giving him the pass on. If he did everything he did and he looked like Sandor Clegane, you wouldn't be giving him the pass. You wouldn't say he has a redemption arc. Doing one thing good is not redemption in the end to me. It's just a good thing that you did, but doesn't all the bad stuff, it doesn't matter. It still matters. So I do think that we will see him do something, maybe save Jon or do something like that. Like I have my theory, everyone, if you watch my videos, I think that it'll be Jaime Lannister that stabs the Night's King in the back. He will do the Howland Reed situation, stab the Night's King in the back, allowing Jon Snow to hit the finishing blow and take out the Night's King when it's all said and done. That's why he's the Kingslayer. That's why he's known for stabbing the king in the back. He'll do the exact same thing. That's what's going to go down. So I do believe that that's going to happen, but I don't think that I can't say that Jaime Lannister is good or having doing something good or be good or whatever like that. He may do something good, but he's not a good person.
One of my favorite videos you did is when you were talking about Jaime's dream and how Jaime and Brienne were going to be the Night's King and Queen. And that's another video that I've always wanted to do, was talking about ice being put back together, turning blue, why that's a factor, why that's important. Do you want to let these people know? Because I don't think they're going to go back to look all 542 videos, but would you describe a little bit about the occurrence that Jaime had when he was sleeping on a weirwood stump and why that's important?
All right, so there's two different things. I guess so. We talk about the him with Brienne, right? That one.
Yeah.
So when he's in that dream with Brienne and stuff, we see he has that sword. The sword is glowing silver bluish. Now, I do believe that in the end, that's a good possibility if you're using Dawn as light bringer, that the sword could burn silver bluish, right? It would make sense. It's a white sword. It could burn silver bluish. It could So that could be that. Not that Jaime has anything to do with it, but when we see there, it's basically he's in what would be considered the Lannister crypts, and we see the water that's up on his feet, and there's dead things in the water. Now, to me, I think that what this is that it's the same vision that you see Daenerys when Daenerys is flying over the Trident, but at this time when she's not over the Trident, she is Rhaegar Targaryen, and she's on her dragon. She's not herself. And then she bathes her foes that were armored in ice in fire, and they turn into a big stream. We see Jaime Lannister in the stream that just happens to be as cold as this stream is that she's done at the next. So I think it's a situation with him and Brienne fighting the White Walkers at this particular time. That's what the water is. It's Daenerys there. It's not Daenerys. Daenerys thinks it's her on the dragon, but it's really Rhaegar, which really means that that's Jon Snow. Right. So I think that that's what's going to happen there. Jon Snow on the dragon, burning down the Night's King's army. I think Jaime Lannister and Brienne, it's a good possibility that they both die in there at that particular time. And Jaime Lannister gets to die in Brienne's arms because he dies first.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. He's got to go. He's got to go, baby.
Yeah.
He's gotta go. He ain't chilling there. He ain't chilling.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my most hated characters. Obviously, no doubt about that. But one more character, I think, and then we'll wrap it up if that's okay with you.
You do whatever you want.
Oh, awesome, man. So Tyrion, not this is not the Tyrion in the books, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tyrion is a totally messed up character. Peter Dinklage is another one of those examples of Dan and Dave love him. George loved him. They picked him out from the beginning from his experience on the Narnia series, and definitely made this character just blossom. Everybody likes Peter Dinklage as Tyrion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with this being said, we've always heard that Tyrion will not betray his family. He says that at Winterfell. He says that at King's Landing. And yet he's in a situation where he could easily betray them by continuing to support Dany. Is this Dany's last betrayal?
I think you have to look at it when you're dealing with Tyrion Lannister is to look at the whole character and say to yourself, ask yourself this question. From everything I've read about Tyrion Lannister, what is this character's arc? What would it be? What is his arc? And I think if you could figure that out, then it's easy to see exactly where he's going to end up. To me, the only arc we've ever seen of Tyrion, it's not being in power. It's not being with 1,000,000 women like he is. It's not being the most hung dwarf of all time, right? He's not trying to be Ron Jeremy of dwarfs. He may be, but he's not trying to be that. What he's trying to be is a Lannister. What we hear constantly over and over for him is how he deserves Casterly Rock, how it should have been promised to him, how he's a Lannister. He's the truest of the Lannisters. He's the one who really is the Tywin's son. That's what we hear. That's his arc. When you see the dream from Daenerys, when Daenerys gets the dream from Quaife, she says to her, Lion and Griffin, trust none of them. Remember the house of the Undying. If people believe Quaife is there for Daenerys' best interest, she's telling you right here that this lion is not one to be trusted. She's putting Tyrion in the same category with either Victoria Greyjoy and John Connington, the guy who has fake Aegon. And she's putting Tyrion right with them, saying, don't trust any of them. So why would she do that if Tyrion wasn't going to betray her? If that wasn't going to be what's going to happen, it's not going to be the last betrayal, Amy. That's going to be Jon Snow when he stabs her and forms Lightbringer. That's a done deal. But there's no other way. Why would they say these things about Tyrion? And then you look at and you try to examine exactly what is this character's arc. This is the only way it ends for him. It doesn't end from him being handed a king for Daenerys or anything like that. It ends for him finally being accepted as the Lannister and most likely getting killed for being that Lannister.
That's a great way of putting it. I didn't quite think of it that way in my analyzation, but I always yield to Tony Teflon when it comes to this kind of a thing. So thank you. Any other character that you think would be a big shock to you as far as how they ended up, like Jon Snow or
if he
Bronn,
survived,
for example?
if Jon lived, that would be a big shock to me. If Daenerys lived, that would be a big shock to me. I can't see either of them living at all, especially Daenerys. There's no way Daenerys, because I know people will hate it and I love Daenerys, but if I'm not here with anything but I'm not here with anything but what I'm reading in the books. And from everything I've read in the books and everything I've seen, is just no way that if you're looking at an arc here, like we just said about Tyrion, what's Daenerys' arc? What has happened? The only thing we've ever seen from this chick that we've seen is that she's tried to gain the Iron Throne. So would her arc be that she gains the Iron Throne? It can't be that, because that's what she's been going for. It has to be a particular time that she realizes that she doesn't get the Iron Throne. There's something more important than the Iron Throne. And that is the same arc that we've learned from Stannis, that Stannis learned that he thought that he had to get the throne to save the realm, but he realized he had to save the realm to get the throne. You hear Jon Snow say to her in last season, he says to her, people are going to see you the way I see you. That's because she's going to be willing to sacrifice her own life to become Nisa Nisa, to forge Lightbringer, to kill the White Walkers and save the world. And that's what's going to end for her. That's her last betrayal. That's how it goes down. There's just no way else around it. People may not like it, you can hate it, but that's just what it is.
Absolutely. So cool for you to be here, Tony. I can't say thank you more times than I have. I really do appreciate it. You're one of my favorite YouTubers of all time, and definitely have followed you the longest. Even though we don't always agree, I still just think that you're very creative. You're very fun to watch, and I can't wait to see how this ends and you reporting on it. So thank you for being my first guest on the 30 Days of Live Stream. Would you like to say goodbye to everybody? Because if there's anything that you're more legendary known for your videos, all 542, is your hello and goodbye.
Well, I guess listen, AU, my brother, thank you so much for having me on. Thank you for thinking of me to have me on there. You know what I mean? Appreciate it. I really do. It's a lot of fun to hang out with you. Like I said, I don't go on a lot of live streams and don't hit the road a lot and stuff like that. But you asked, and there's no doubt if you need me tomorrow, I'd be here tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just to do number 2. I do all 30 with you. It'd be no problem if you wanted to get it down. You know what I mean? But I'd rather you work with other people so I can hear what they got to say also. Thank you for everybody in the chat for coming joining. Especially everyone who sent the super chat out there. Thank you so much, my man. Hey, you got paid tonight. You know what I mean? That's what we're trying to do up in this piece. Got my brother some dough up in this piece. That's what I'm saying. Thank you for the love, and for the people who didn't put the super chat in, thank you just for chilling with us, because it's not about the dough. You know what I mean? It's really just about y'all just chilling with us, thumbsing up the videos. It's all we ever asked for. It's a little thumbs up love. Everybody who shot it came out here. Shayna 83, I see spots. T Baby, Mo Castillo, Terry T, The Night's King, Ian, Khaleesi Clues. Thank you for chilling with us. And if you like the way he does it to me, please thumbs up this, please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, know who it is. Peace and stay safe.